everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the Diana Show today. I have a friend of mine that has been working with me for a couple months now, I think, 2 or 3 months. And I feel like he's kind of like a best kept secret among women, but I wanted to bring him on the show and talk with him and let him share about the services that he does for women and sort of his history and why he got into all of it. So thank you for coming on, Ali. Can you share what your business is and get us started?
Absolutely. So I'm a certified women's holistic hormone practitioner. I'm also a certified menopause well-being practitioner, and I hold a bachelor's in kinesiology. I've been working with women for weight loss for almost a decade, but I fully transitioned my focus to perimenopause and menopause. A big part of it is because my mom started experiencing symptoms and weight gain out of nowhere, and she went to her doctor to get some help. Her doctor dismissed her, gaslighted her, only offered her antidepressant or sleep med. The more women I talk to, the more I realize like it's happening to a lot of women where they start experiencing weight gain, especially belly fat. They're experiencing symptoms of fatigue, depression, even as bad as suicidal thoughts. Women that quit their jobs because of the extreme brain fog and loss of concentration. It's affecting their relationships, their marriages, their work, their life. And they're getting no help from doctors. They go to their doctors and their doctors gaslight them, dismiss them, only diagnose them with depression or sleep apnea or things like that because their doctors learn nothing about what they're doing. They learn nothing about menopause. So I am so blessed to be able to educate myself and get into this field because I feel like this field and these women need a lot of help and they're getting no help from their doctors. And I feel like I'm not only changing their lives, but I'm also saving their lives. So I'm truly blessed to be in this position.
It does feel good to do something where you know you're helping people, right? And you really are doing something that's an amazing service. I understand what you do, but how do you do this for women?
Yes, great question. So the first thing I do is order a full blood panel. So I order my clients a full blood panel to check their liver enzymes, their kidneys, their cholesterol levels, their blood sugar, their insulin, their thyroid function, their sex hormones, their estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Because the loss of estrogen during perimenopause and menopause affects so many different systems in your body that affect their digestive system, causing more inflammation. They affect their cortisol, affects their thyroid. All these combined can lead to belly fat, inability to lose weight, especially low estrogen can cause insulin resistance, which leads to type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, things like that. So ordering a full panel to check what's happening inside the body first. And then from there, we start checking where they have deficiencies, imbalances. What I do is I also help interpret their labs through functional medicine, narrow ranges, optimal ranges that are much different than your standard medicine wide ranges. Because if you test your hormones or anything through your doctor and you fall into that broad range, they consider you normal. And normal doesn't mean optimal. So it's important to focus on optimal ranges to see exactly where they have deficiencies, to focus on the right changes with nutrition and lifestyle and supplementation. So that is number one, order a full panel. And then from there, we also customize their nutrition, their macronutrients. So women in menopause, they experience a lot of inflammation. So foods that they used to eat in the past, now their body doesn't process them as well, especially inflammatory foods, stuff like gluten, dairy, carbohydrates, even healthy carbohydrates, because their body is more insulin resistant. Those carbs don't get processed as well. So it's important to change their macronutrients, focusing on more protein, more healthy fats, less in the carbs, make sure that they are eating enough calories, because 95% of the women I work with aren't eating enough. Because that is the first thing that women usually change. Like they're experiencing weight gain out of nowhere. The first thing maybe they want to do is eat less, exercise more.
Right.
But that eating less is causing more stress on the body, more cortisol. They're already under stress because their hormones are changing. So their body's already high in cortisol. They might be also maybe sandwiched between taking care of their family and parents and also their kids. So there's a lot of stressors there. There's a lot of stressors with work. There's a lot of stressors with the changes that's happening in their body. A lot of stressors because they start lacking sleep because of the loss of hormones. So I talk to women that get 3 to 4 hours of sleep for months. They become almost like zombies. Like they can't function. There's so much stress and cortisol happening in their body. So eating enough is going to be important, and also not over exercising. So minimizing cortisol spikes, minimizing insulin spikes, focusing on those things, focusing on an anti-inflammatory approach to help them with the weight loss and help improve their symptoms as well.
It's so interesting because that's exactly when I met you. It's exactly the opposite of what I thought I needed to do. You had me start at the very beginning to eat much more protein. I remember not really realizing how hard it was on my body to do like a HIIT workout. So my workout changed a bit as well. And I think we do think as women, what has always worked for us in our 20s, 30s, maybe even into our 40s, reduce the calorie intake. But it is so important to me now at 53 years old. I would rather carry a few extra pounds and make sure that I'm keeping muscle
Yes.
than starve myself. It really is important to me to get enough good calories.
Absolutely. And eating enough protein is crucial, especially for women in perimenopause and menopause, because
Mm-hmm.
with the aging process, women start losing muscle. There's a natural process that happens called
Mm-hmm.
sarcopenia. That is when women start losing muscle mass with age, and actually they start gaining more body fat instead.
Yeah.
So it's crucial to try to maintain as much as possible that precious muscle that women have, because
Yeah.
muscle equals more strength, equals better bone density, equals less risk of injuries, equals faster metabolism. So that loss of muscle that happens in perimenopause and menopause, it's important to be eating enough protein to fuel those muscles, to maintain the muscle mass, and also do resistance training to help build muscle and also maintain muscle. Not high intensity exercises and workouts, but more just moderate pace resistance training where you're just loading up the muscles so you can build and maintain. So that there's never been a more important time to be eating enough protein and calories than perimenopause and menopause.
Definitely. So for you and I, for the last maybe 3 months, we've been meeting weekly. And that's one of the benefits is I'm like, oh, I know I'd be seeing Ali and I have to check in and talk about what's been going on. So the accountability has been really huge for me. The recipe book that you give has been super helpful. And even my kids have started to sort of like dabble with not dabble, really, like one of my daughters who cooks a lot, cooks quite a bit off of that. And then in our weekly meetings, you do a little checklist. You've given me some good recommendations on supplements. I love the accountability because I feel like I get to check in with you every week. It's almost like you're the little rudder on a boat. Like you just kind of guide me, or the guide rails at the bowling alley or whatever. You guide me right back into where I should be every week. So I'm just curious, the other clients that you are serving, if you could kind of share if it's the accountability or what it is that's helping them so much, and maybe some stories about how things have changed for them.
Absolutely, yes. I think that accountability is huge. The proper guidance is definitely big because, like I said, like women don't know what's happening in their body and why. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
exactly how to navigate. It's like you being in a new country and you're trying to get to the hotel without having a taxi to take you, right? Like you're at a new place and you're
Yeah.
unfamiliar with what to do to get to your destination because
Yeah.
women tried to do what worked in the past, eating less, exercising more. That would have worked in the past before
Mm-hmm.
perimenopause. But now
Mm-hmm.
your hormones are in charge of where you store fat, how you lose it, where you store calories. So you have to take a hormonal approach. And if you're not familiar with that stage and how to navigate that, the proper guidance from an expert is absolutely necessary. So,
Mm-hmm.
doing the testing, doing the anti-inflammatory approach, the recipe book, all these things, these are important, but also accountability. Because even if you have the plan on handy, you still have kids, you still have work, you still have your life, you have so much on your plate. So it's important to have that person with you that's cheering you on, that's holding your hand, taking you there every step of the way. So those
Mm-hmm.
weekly calls have been crucial. I think the most important aspect of what I do is the accountability because I'm meeting with my clients weekly. I'm accessing what they're logging in as far as food. So I'm reminding them to track their food.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, especially
I know that.
remind them to track the food, guiding them on exactly like, okay, don't do this, add more protein, increase your protein portion for dinner. So having that one-on-one accountability and guidance is important not only for keeping them accountable, but for also, there's no option for failure when you have that person with you navigating the journey with you and guiding you on exactly what to do, plus offering you a plan that there's no restriction. Like women are eating everything they love and enjoy, but they learn how to make the better version and healthier version of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's recipes for pancakes and pizza and cookies and brownies, but made with anti-inflammatory ingredients. So there's no restriction, there's no starving yourself, and you have the full guidance and accountability. So I think all these combined, but especially accountability is key for my clients'
Mm-hmm.
success.
I think at our meeting yesterday, I was telling you that it seems like right at the right time when I'm really not having a great day, you'll be like, can you please log in and log your food, please? And I'm like, oh, he's watching because you are behind the scenes, sort of the Wizard of Oz, kind of, you know, lovingly keeping track of what's going on with your clients. And I think that is one of the things that's so helpful to me because it's not really being perfect every day. I certainly have not been perfect, but over the last 3 months, I've lost now 12 pounds. The weight loss is great, but what I've gained really is confidence that going through this journey, whatever it's going to be, it could be 10 years of this situation, of knowing that I can always text you and be like, hey, what's going on with this? Having a partner in that has been a big deal. And then also there were so many things that you had me swap out, like oil, just stupid stuff like oil, like
Yeah.
really, but it does make a difference. The oils, what you cook with, what you have in your pantry. And it's good to know, you know.
Yeah, because the loss of estrogen, like low estrogen, affects literally every system in women's bodies, from their head
Mhm.
to their toes, including digestion. So it
Mhm.
affects your digestion or your gut microbiome. So your body becomes sensitive to all inflammatory foods. Your body just doesn't process them as well, and they
Mhm.
affect you negatively, causing bloating, causing weight gain, causing leaky gut, and leaky gut can cause hypothyroid and Hashimoto's. So there's so many things linked together. So it's important to make sure to consume foods that are anti-inflammatory, and seed oils like corn oil and soybean oil and canola oil, these are highly inflammatory, and maybe you could have gone through digesting them well in the past, but now at this stage, anti-inflammatory approach is key. So it's good to be conscious of all inflammatory ingredients found in your kitchen, from seed oils to gluten, soft dairies like milk, some soft cheeses, sugar, refined carbs. But the goal here, like we're doing, is substituting them. Like sugar, you substitute it with monk fruit sweetener that doesn't spike blood sugar, that's anti-inflammatory. The seed oils, you substitute them with healthy oils like coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. That is the goal, is not to eliminate something, is to substitute it with healthier alternative. That
Yeah,
way
my
you
daughter
sustain it for
my
life.
daughter made one of your recipes this week and it was like a pumpkin crumbly thing. And I was like, every time I ate a little piece of it, I was like, really? Really? This isn't bad for me because it was so good.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing with the chocolate, finally getting on the good chocolate chips that you recommend. And I'm like, that with a little bit of like a nut butter, so yummy, just such a, like a quick, yummy treat. But I don't feel deprived at all. I feel really excited. I think that I never really had an example of women that were excited to age. I had an example of awesome women, women who could handle way more than, you know, probably I ever could. But as far as having an example of women that were like, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the next 40 years. I'm excited to grow into an older lady and what will I do and what will I accomplish? And I think part of that is because women have been underserved and it hasn't been a whole hell of a lot of fun getting older for women and men either, but women specifically, they're when you listen to different podcasts or read different things about the research that's been done on women, the studies that haven't been done on women. I just wonder what your take on that, especially with you being in this industry.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely lack of care,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the health field for women navigating perimenopause and menopause.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely not enough research, not enough help, not enough education and training for doctors in medical school to learn
Mm-hmm.
anything about this stage. Like
Mm-hmm.
my cousin and I, we started our telemedicine company and we offer hormone replacement therapy for women. And he said that he only got an hour of education in his whole 4 years in medical school on menopause.
Wow.
So doctors get no education on this field. They get no training. So this is why they dismiss their patients going through
Yeah.
menopause. They don't know how to help them. Only
Yeah.
thing they can offer them is, okay, you feel depressed, take this antidepressant.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with sleep, take the sleep med. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to help them. There's not enough education or training, and there's definitely a lack there in the
You
medical
think
field.
that that's going to change?
For sure. I think there's a huge change going in this field for sure. They just came up with a documentary specifically for women going through menopause. Yeah, there's more
Really?
research done. There's more care about it. Yes, I think people like me and other people, other doctors that are speaking up about it, and women speaking up about their symptoms and what they're going through. I think that is definitely making a change and a movement for sure.
Yeah. That's amazing. I want to be an example to my daughters. You know, I have 4 daughters and a son, and hopefully a daughter-in-law one day. You know, like I just want to be an example of a woman who grows older, happily and in a vital way. I want to have a vitality. It is amazing how food has made a big difference and the way that I exercise. I'll never be a runner, you know. I can't do that anymore. I used to drop weight like crazy and run and run and run and run and loved it. But that's a version of me 25 years ago. And now I like to lift weights. I like my 3 days a week at the gym. I like my alone time at the gym. Meeting you was happenstance. I mean, it just was a girlfriend at the park who was talking about you. I just got lucky. I feel so fortunate that I did end up getting you in my life, because I feel like this has taken me on a new direction where the person that I want to become, I can see myself, aging like that. And it's really important to me. I think it's important that women see that there are options. Getting older isn't such a drag. We have a lot to offer. Women are amazing. And there is so much that we can do with our lives. But the basis for that is feeling good, right? It's hard to be creative, and it's hard to evolve and turn out these amazing things into the world, or even just show up for our lives if we don't feel good. And so that's where I feel like, you've made a really big difference for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I got a little emotional about this. I appreciate it. There is one thing that my clients tell me and our patients tell us is like, you gave me hope.
Yeah.
Like that word alone, like when like there is hope, like you're trying everything to try to lose this weight and feel better so you can show up better for your kids and show up better for the people around you. And then you lose hope because you feel like you're the only one struggling with that. You're the only one going through that, especially when your doctors tell you, they just dismiss you. They think that you're not saying the truth. You just feel alone. So when you have somebody telling you like you're not alone, you're not the only one going through that, there are other women experiencing the same thing as you start having that hope. And that hope is just a beautiful thing, to have hope that there is actually help. There are actually treatments to what you're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And it's not miserable. I have not been miserable. I've had a very fun 3 months. Whether I'm on the soccer field watching my daughter and I just meet with you for 5 minutes, I've been really inspired by this process, and to have somebody that has come alongside me and really helped me see myself in a different way. I feel like I have a lot to offer, and I want to feel my best to be able to do that. So that's been really cool. One of the things that I really love, and really feel like I benefit from, is your Facebook group, because I feel like seeing other women winning, or maybe sharing their results, has given me sort of the voice to be able, like, oh, these are my results too, or sharing recipes, anything like that. So tell me, how do you get in that group?
Absolutely, yes. It's great to have a community of women that are going through the same journey, that are in the same program. That way you feel like you're not alone. You have more accountability. Like you get motivated when you see other women posting their
Yeah.
results and showing up to the gym, and it's just motivating to have that sense of community. So yeah, we have a private Facebook group for all women currently in my program working with me one-on-one. So anybody that decides to navigate the journey with me and work with me, they get access to the group too. You can get access to all women that are going through the same journey and have that accountability, extra accountability and motivation too, and support. My Facebook is just Ali Farhat, and my business name is Conquer Your Menopause. My website is conqueryourmenopause.com.
I love to seeing you whenever you pop up on social media, and you got your little lavalier mic, and you give some really, really good free advice on there. You are full of knowledge. You really know what the heck you're talking about.
Thank you. I honestly, when I first got into this field, I offered my service for free for women so I can learn with them what exactly they're going through, and exactly like how to create my program to fulfill everything they're struggling with, how to make the process as simple and easy as possible. So I'm blessed to be able to learn a lot from women, because I'm a male. Obviously, I'm never going to go through menopause. So my
Right.
only experience is through other women's experiences and them. So yeah, very blessed to be able to be at this stage where the program is showing like almost 100% success rate, and women are feeling, like you said, like you're not even on a diet. Like there's so much with the diet culture. As soon as you hear the word diet, you just feel like I'm just eating chicken and broccoli every day, and it's dry food, and it's gonna be temporary. I'm gonna gain all the weight back, but it doesn't have to be diet. It's a lifestyle change. The goal is to enjoy everything you love, but made with ingredients that don't spike your blood sugar rapidly, don't cause inflammation. So that way, don't you feel like you can eat this way forever?
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we were talking the other day, you were saying, because we were talking about tracking, which I do enjoy tracking, and my husband really enjoys tracking. So it's kind of great for us. You said some of your clients get that down, and then they're kind of eating similar things, and they understand the macros and how they work. And it becomes sort of just a lifestyle. I shared with you that I had an emotional weekend because I had a friend who was sick, and I just texted you and said, All right, just to be honest, I mean, I definitely have had that rear its head where I'm definitely coping with food. But it was pretty cool because on Monday, I got up, I got my little one to school, defrosted my meat that I wanted to brown to put with the veggies. I like to have like a base in the fridge where if I come home from work and I'm exhausted, I just know I have something that's within those guidelines. And I got right back on my food prep. It just really works for me. And it's really, I'm happy and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have something that works. I have done, oh my gosh, Ali, I'm so embarrassed to say. I mean, I started out, I remember my senior year in high school, I had a 6 pack of Slim Fast. You're probably not even old enough to know what that is, but it was like the first protein drink. And I would do that, 2 Slim Fast, and then a sensible meal for dinner. And then I moved on to Weight Watchers. And I mean, I have done everything.
Yeah.
The weird thing that comes over the facts where you're supposed to eat tuna and beets and vanilla ice cream for dinner. Like there's been all sorts of crazy shit that I have tried. But in reality, all I really want right now, of course, I'm vain. I love to look good. I always want to look good in my jeans and make sure I feel like I look good for my husband. But even more importantly, I mean, I had a baby when I was 46 years old. She's only 7 right now. I'm 53. I want this body to last and be vital and be, is the word vital or vibrant? I want to
Yeah.
feel vibrant and able and excited, you know,
Both. Yeah. To thrive in this stage,
thrive.
because a lot of women, when they start going through the stage, they don't anymore. They start experiencing aches and pains and mood issues and energy issues and weight gain,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel like there's no hope because they try everything. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
Slim Fast, keto, paleo, Herbalife, all these things. So many women have told me that, but these don't. If it's not sustainable, or the Ozempic, like if it's not sustainable, you can't do
Yeah,
it forever. You don't have the skills to do it and maintain. Then it's just pointless. Do it
yeah,
in a way where you can sustain for life and maintain for life.
right. And
Yeah,
that's a lot of freedom because I can't imagine losing all the weight I wanted to lose with Ozempic because there is a whole other thing. It's not, the weight loss is just such a small part of the pie. It's the brain fog, it's the sleeping, it's the sex drive, it's the vitality, feeling good. It's all those things. And I don't know that I would just get that with Ozempic.
absolutely not. And most of the weight that is lost with Ozempic is muscle mass. We just talked about how important it is to maintain muscle.
We
So
need those muscles.
it's not just about losing weight, it's about losing healthy weight. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you lost 10 pounds, but if the most of it is muscle, what's the point? You lost your metabolism, you're losing bone density and strength. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want that.
The muscle is the protector of the body for sure. So I love the idea of you being like a young, handsome, clearly well educated and informed male. But I have to admit, it's kind of surprising that you would, you know, you in your gender would be the one that would be helping women. But it's also delightful. In your opinion, what role do you feel like men play in their partners if they're with a female? Like how can men be supportive?
Absolutely. One of my missions is not only to make a change in the menopause world and help women in menopause, but to be an inspiration and maybe role model for other men to be more involved in this and proactive in this with their mothers, because we have our moms, our grandparents, maybe our partner, our wives. They all Women will go through that stage at some point
Yeah.
of their life. So men have to be more proactive and educated on this. They have to
Mhm.
understand what their partner and what their mom is going through. This is why they are moody. This is why their mood is changing. This is why they have less energy. This is why they have less libido. This is why they're not sleeping as well. So it's important for them to educate themselves and be aware of what's happening with them and try to help out as much as possible and be supportive instead of just ignore them or tell them like I'm not enjoying a relationship with you anymore or things like that, because you know that divorce rates are the highest for women going through menopause,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a lot of it has to do with like the symptoms that women are going through and the misunderstanding that men have because they don't know what's happening. They may be
Right.
judged. So it's important to be educated and aware of what's happening and try to help out as much as possible. Try to help out by helping her find maybe a provider or a person that can help her change those
Mm-hmm.
symptoms and feel better, and so she can thrive, so she can show up better for you as well as a male.
Mm-hmm. I think that there are a lot. I think that that pendulum is shifting where men are more involved. I was at this skating rink with my daughter the other day, my husband and I, and I'm like, there are so many men here. It's so delightful.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go at kids practices and stuff, men are very involved with their children. And so I would think that there'd be an appetite for men to be like, what is going on with my beautiful wife? We've been together through, college to now, and she's really struggling. How can I help? How can I get involved? So that's
Exactly. To be this way instead of saying you're changing, you're changed, and kind of be negative about it. Gotta learn like why is she changing? Why is she acting different? Understand why. Try to
yeah.
listen and be proactive instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And what is his role? Because I'm sure for men, like if you have a wife that was one way for maybe 20 years of your relationship, 15 or 20 years, and then all of a sudden her sex drive is different, her attitude is different, or physically she's different, it's definitely a change. And I think that that needs to be acknowledged as well. And I'm sure that there's not really a lot out there for men,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So there's a book, I'm telling you, there's a podcast, there's a course.
There's a lot for sure. That's why I'm so passionate about this field because there's just so much to do and help, and I just love being in this field. I truly feel blessed, and I feel like it's my calling. God chose me to be in this field, and I truly feel it's my purpose and calling, and it feels amazing.
That's awesome. I think that if you are doing something where you feel like you're helping people and you can get those messages where they're like, Ali, thank you so much. You saved my marriage or whatever. It's a big deal.
So fulfilling. It's the
Yeah.
biggest reward I can get. Is literally changing somebody's life. And
So, Ali, if women are interested or if they have more questions for you, what is the best way for them to get in touch?
the best way is to schedule a free 30-minute consult with me over Zoom. So
Mhm.
we can put a link for my calendar maybe under the podcast, and women can schedule a call at a time and day of their convenience. We do a 30-minute free consultation where we dive into their challenges, symptoms, and see how we can work together and
Mhm.
what the process looks like for them. And if they decide that the program is a good fit, I'm offering a 10% discounted rate for your listeners and viewers as well.
Yay! That's so nice. Thank you so much. Well, I'm excited to hear some stories of other women that you're able to help. My hope is, and I always kind of add this at the end of my podcast, my hope is that this goes out and reaches somebody who's really struggling and hasn't been able to get the answers that they want, or maybe doesn't want to be on sleeping pills or ingesting pharmaceuticals as much as they are, and wants to just have a healthier lifestyle where they can thrive and chase the life that they really are desiring. So
Absolutely, yes.
thank you so much. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, the last 3 months have meant so much to me. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for the life that I have right now. I love my life as it is, but I'm also really excited about the future version of my life too. And I would attribute a lot of that to you and your guidance.
Thank you. I am so blessed and grateful to be a positive part of your life. Very
Yeah,
grateful.
for sure. All right, Ali, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.